I hope you all are well. So today in this session, I'm going to teach you a new chapter that is globe, latitude and longitude. So let us start.
Globe, latitude and longitude. Globe. A globe is the three-dimensional model of the earth in miniature. That means smaller things we are representing the total earth. So this is a true representation of the earth. So this globe is more accurate than the map. What we represent and this globe also gives us the correct shape and size of different continents as well as countries. Globes are of different sizes and types. So, what are the uses of globe? Globe is used to locate places. Globes are used to plan long distance travel via sea, via air. Planning these travels is known as Great Circle routes. So, these air routes and sea routes can be planned using this globe. So, this is the image how Earth looks. Now, let's see how we can refer, how we can understand a globe. So, there are points to reference on a globe. So, the Earth spins around an imaginary line called the axis, and this axis has two ends. Those two ends are North Pole and South Pole. And this axis is not always straight. It is always tilted at an angle of 23 by 2 degree to the vertical. And another imaginary line which runs to the middle of the earth is called equator. And this equator divides into two halves, that is northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. And how can an absolute location of a place can be known using the globe? It can be located using a coordinated recognized system formed by latitude and longitude. So, these are the points in a globe where the middle half is equator and there are points known as latitude and longitude, and there are two poles, the North Pole and South Pole. These are the points on a globe. Now, next moving on, latitudes. These lines of the latitudes are imaginary lines that run horizontally across the surface of the earth. They measure the angular distance in degrees, minutes and seconds of a point north or south of the equator. Equator is located at 0 degree latitude, and equator divides the earth into two equal halves known as the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. All the lines which are parallel to the north of the equator, they are known as the northern latitude, and all the lines which are parallel to the south of the equator, they are known as the southern latitude. So, this is the imaginary horizontal lines running on a globe known as latitudes. Each hemisphere is divided into three temperature or heat zones, that is, the Torrid Zone, the Temperate Zone, and the Frigid Zone. So, first we talk about Torrid Zone. So, in the latitude between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, the midday sun shines perpendicular overhead at least once a year, and these latitudes get the direct rays of the sun. This is the hottest zone. This is also known as the Torrid Zone or Tropical Zone. So, this is the Torrid Zone which is at the equator. Now, next is Temperate Zone. So, latitude or parallel lines lying between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in northern hemisphere and the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere get the inclined rays of the sun. They are called temperate zone. So, this is the north temperate zone and this is the south temperate zone. And the middle is the heavy summer region, that is the torrid zone. Next, moving on to the frigid zone. The latitude between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern and between Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere. They get the least amount of sun rays. So, that is the reason they are very cold and known as frigid zone or polar region. Now, longitude. Longitude are the vertical lines which pass on the globe are called meridians of longitude. They run from North Pole to South Pole, cutting the parallel lines of latitude. So, latitude are the horizontal lines and longitude are the vertical lines. Longitude are also measured in degrees. There are two important meridians, the prime meridian and the international dateline. So, this is the image of longitude. These are all the vertical lines which are known as the longitudes, and these are also indicated in degrees. Characteristics of meridian. Lines of longitude run from the North Pole to the South Pole in a north-south direction, and this distance between the meridians decreases poleward from the equator, and the meridians are numbered from the prime meridians. So, there are 360 degree of longitude. Let's see what is Earth grid. The lines of latitude and longitude meet at one point. The point where the insert and the point where the meet is at right angle, that is 90 degree. This 90 degree forms like rectangular shape angle. So that grid which forms by this crisscrossing line is known as the Earth grid, and this Earth grid help us to locate places easily. Now, time zone of the world. First is worldwide time zone. second, Standard Time Zone, third, the International Time Zone. So first we talk about Worldwide Time Zone. The first person to discover was Sir Sandford Fleming. He discovered the Worldwide Time Zone in 1878. He told that the world be divided into 24 time zones and each one is separated by 15 degree of longitude. Next, standard time, the local time of a place that depends on the meridian of longitude that passes through it. There are several longitudes passing through India. The standard time for each country usually taken as the time of the central meridian of that country, and most of the country follow a standard time. The local time of the central meridian of India 82 degree 30 east is taken as the standard time for the entire country. It is called India Standard Time. Greenwich Mean Time is the local time at Greenwich. It can be used for the purpose of calculating time globally. The next is the International Dateline. So, opposite to the prime meridian is the 180 degree longitude. It is called International Dateline. The prime meridian and international dateline together divide the earth into two equal halves, western hemisphere and eastern hemisphere, and they lie at 360 degree longitude around the globe. The international dateline separate into two calendar days. Countries which lies in the eastern hemisphere, they are one day ahead of country in the western hemisphere. So that is the reason India little bit ahead the American countries in term of the time and day. So this is the international dateline.
I hope you all like this video, so please like and subscribe and press the bell icon. Thank you.